What really stands out about Cameron's career is what happened after Dipset had already made him a star. Dipset opened the door for him, but staying relevant meant knowing what to do once that moment was no longer enough. And Cameron kept doing exactly that by finding different lanes to move into. That's the bigger business lesson in his story. When one thing stops working, you have to be ready to build whatever comes next. So now, let's hear how Cameron views his career as a whole.
Hey man, what's the word, man?
What's up, nigga? Oh, wait, before I get into you got high expectations. If you didn't turn out, it's a two-part question. How would you judge your career as an entertainer? That's the first one. Let's get to the first one. How would you judge, if you were stepping outside of Cam and looking, how would you judge your career?
How would I judge my career as an entertainer? On a scale of 1 to 10, probably an 8. Probably an 8, maybe an 8.5. Because of my longevity.
Cam understood something a lot of people miss about longevity. It's not really about holding on to fame forever, it's about continuing to have value. Dipset was a major part of what made him, but he never treated it like the only identity he could have. Instead, he kept building through new skills, relationships, and different business opportunities. And that's what allows you to keep going when the thing that first made you valuable starts to change.
Like, my longevity, like, did 30 years next year that I've been doing this professionally. And I'm at the height of my shit. Like, reinventing yourself is not easy. You know what I'm saying? You have to reinvent yourself. You gotta think about this. I came in doing mixtapes, then I got a record deal.
Now look at the pattern here.
Cam's approach was never really about walking away from one career and starting another. It was more about building on top of everything he had already created. Each move gave him something else he could bring with him into the next chapter. And that changes the way you look at a career entirely. Instead of constantly wondering what your next big moment will be, the question becomes what you can build from everything you already have.
I got a gold album, then I got a platinum album, then I put on a crew, named the crew Dipset, then I had artists that sold gold, then I had a fucking Diplomat album that went gold. Then other people that I dealt with, they were successful. Then you throw the fashion into it. Every year, nigga dressed like me for Halloween with the pink on and the phone and everything else. Then I'm part of a culturally, like one of the best urban movies ever when you talk about Paid in Full. And, you compare that to, Belly, Immense Society, or Boys in the Hood, shit like that. And then navigating business with clothing and so on and so forth. And then just come back and start doing sports and, starting a sports podcast 3 years ago, then being on ESPN the last 4 months on the biggest show on ESPN. As long as doing a podcast here with you and putting on other people's podcasts. My shit been electric. You know what I'm saying? It ain't easy though. I'm not sitting there acting like everything I just said was 1, 2.
And this might be the biggest lesson from the entire conversation. We usually look at successful people and only notice the wins, but Cam is pointing out that there were plenty of ideas behind those wins. That's business. You're not going to reinvent yourself perfectly every time. What matters is being willing to keep going until you find something that works.
I think about a bunch of shit that I tried to do that didn't work, you know what I'm saying? I did mad shit that didn't work, but if you say how I'm judging it, I'm not, y'all say I did myself. I'm gonna be honest, like I'm gonna take the halfway, 7.5, 8, because I may not have sold as many records as Jay-Z or been as big as Jay-Z or Nas, or it's a lot of people way more successful in music. Even though I think I did pretty well in doing music as well, but it's a lot of them niggas that can't do what I do, or don't have the personality that I have, or can sit there and, we're jumping into a bunch of different platforms when I'm talking about music, fashion, acting, writing movies, producing movies, directing movies, knowing sports. Like, even like people think like, yo, you look at niggas and be like, yo, this shit is easy, man. I go up there and I talk my sports, I say my shit. Y'all don't realize we kind of changed the landscape of that to where niggas is cursing on ESPN at 12 in the afternoon. Everybody got a podcast. Not saying niggas ain't have a podcast before, but niggas like, yo, if Cam and Mace could do it, we could do it too. So I just think how people look at sports the last 2-3 years, or how they give takes on sports, is totally different. Then you have to think about navigating that from the internet to being on a nationally televised show on cable or ESPN, which is in 100 million homes, and having I can still be Cam, but I can't be over there like, man, fuck that, Stephen A. I can't get up there and be like, fuck is you talking about? You gotta be able to have different temperaments in different rooms, you know what I'm saying? So, and shout out to Stephen A. and thank you for the opportunity at ESPN and Disney and all that shit. But yeah, I would say a 7.5, 8, man. You know what I mean? So I think I've done pretty well for the last 30 joints, especially reinventing myself. Yeah, I take the over, my nigga. Next show, BB, we getting Will in here, man. I'm getting my nigga Will a chair, man. We gonna get him in here next show, man.
Because the high expectations thing. All right, so because you just said, I know it sounds crazy when I say working 5 days for 10 months or whatever. So if you wasn't a rapper, ball player, what job you think you would have been involved in? Because I can't see you doing customer service, anything customer service. I can't see that. Manual labor, hell no. I asked you to help me load a treadmill that you gave me on a truck one time, and you looked at me like I was crazy. So no manual labor. So what job would you think you would have done?
I had a couple jobs. I worked in a sneaker store before, and then I was a paper boy when I was 11. I delivered newspapers. Jobs aren't good for me. Anytime I had a job, I had a couple jobs I won't say. Yeah, probably had like 4 jobs in my career, maybe 5.
Dipset played a major role in Cameron's rise, but it clearly wasn't where his story ended. He took the attention, personality, relationships, and credibility he had built and kept turning them into different opportunities. But that raises a bigger question. Would Cameron have been able to build this same kind of longevity without Dipset? He's also acknowledged that he may not have sold as many records as Jay-Z or Nas, but his personality and versatility let him do things they can't. So maybe success isn't only about who has the biggest numbers. Maybe the real question is, who built the most valuable career over time? Let me know what y'all think in the comments, and make sure you like and subscribe.